I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night. Thank you for watching. Guys, I have a very, very important message I need to transmit to everybody. Um, we've been covering the Chinese economic takeover of the planet, and it's been happening primarily in English-speaking countries when it comes to the real estate. Africa's a little bit different. It's more of a resource takeover, where in English-speaking countries, even Jamaica is getting hit with it. South Africa, parts of South Africa getting hit, and pretty much Australia, New Zealand, UK, Canada, and parts of America were suffering for the longest time, like California, Oregon, Washington State, and then Massachusetts, New York, and Illinois. Pretty much were hit pretty hard with a lot of foreign takeover. That's why you got a ton of empty towers in New York, empty towers. By the builder, builds, boom, empty, just sitting empty. No concierge downstairs to let anybody in because no one's living in the building. I received an email from someone that lives in Lower East Side of Manhattan, and he says they tore down a bunch of family units there and to build empty towers. It's disgusting. And he was living in one of the apartments that had got renovated to build towers for wealthy investors to leave them empty. So what is going on, guys? There is a lot going on, and this is a very important. So stick around with me here for a bit. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to set your reminders for upcoming shows, live shows with call-ins. So don't forget to add me on Skype. So here it is. I'll start off with this article from January 25th, and then we'll kind of start moving around into other articles from today. So Chinese police training in BC and espionage risk, critics say. Says, so these guys have been investigating this for a while, been following them. Justice Institute of British Columbia has partnered with Chinese Public Security Bureau and to facilitate a one-way exchange of students to Canada that critics say is ripe for espionage, to the contrary to Canadian values. So Canadian values have been dissolving in the last 7, 6, 7, 8 years. Huge nosedive. So British Columbia's Police Academy has a growing international police training program. It's called tailor-made. It's not Taylor. Taylor, yeah, you can spell Taylor that way. Tailor-made for China's Republic Security Bureau that critics say is a threat to the country security and common values. So this is a big deal. So this is a little bit older one from like 2 weeks ago. So let's go into what's going on today. So here it is. It's being reported by the Globe and Mail. Canada's visa application center in Beijing run by Chinese police. So Canada's visa application center should be run by Canadians. Now, I'm not going to defend this at all. I'm not defending this. It's obviously shouldn't be the way. But let me tell you, like, even when I'm in parts of Canada, like I go in to a bank or an institution, a big bank, everyone's Chinese. Everyone speaks Chinese. I was with RBC in Vancouver. I had to actually with my business, and I had to change branches because I had a really tough time communicating with the people working there. A really tough time. So I mean, no one spoke Spanish or Portuguese. I'm like, damn. I mean, okay. So I'm out. So basically, I had to find another banking institution for my business, right? And you could say that, like, okay, these are Chinese police. They're under strict code. But what's the difference when you come into a business here in Canada where no one speaks English anyway? So, like, I mean, it's kind of, and it's a lot of places. This is not just one place I'm picking on. It's a lot of places. Now it's being run by Chinese police. So Canada's Visa Application Center. Chinese police own a company that collects details of people applying for visas to Canada and numerous other countries, giving Beijing security services a direct stake in the processing of private information provided by people planning to travel outside of China. So China wants to do this in a way so they can control with their social credit score who could flee to Canada. And that's the thing. Canada's beginning, could be a good thing for Canada in a way. So capital flows from China kind of start minimizing because they're doing it with Bitcoin now and they're transferring money. So here it is. Other people, so Beijing Shuangxiong Foreign Service Company, which operates the Canadian Visa Application Center in the Chinese capital, is owned by Beijing Municipal Public Security Bureau. A Globe and Mail investigation has found, and at least some of the working inside the center members of the Communist Party. So recruited from the school that trains the next generation. So now, I don't know if you guys remember that article that was up. School students are to agree and say and be part of what the president of China says. Xi Jinping is, you need to agree with him. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Chinese students. President. So it's a headline story. Nope. I'm just trying to see if I can, Chinese students agree with president. No, I'm just seeing Trump expelling a ton of Chinese students. A lot of Trump expellings. But the article's up. It was on Yahoo Finance. Okay, so we have it up also on Reddit. So a subcontractor, we got that. And let's look at some of the comments here on Reddit. Wow, all of this is quite frightening. Knowing how much of our immigration process can be manipulated, or at least tempered by a foreign country. I wonder how strong this correlates to the massively poor CCP fleeing foreign student body at UBC. It's a paywall. I literally just clicked the link and was able to view the entire article. And awesome breakdown. I still have no idea how countries are asleep at the wheel. The Chinese government infiltrates, steals technology. I guess profit must be worth endangering your countries for future hegemony. Our relationship with China disgusts me. So this is on Reddit. There's thousands of comments on here on that website. And let's move on. So why is this alarming me quite a bit? It's because of this. Canada would be in a recession without money laundering. Now, a lot of it was brought in by Chinese nationals bringing in money, and we've only got 4 years of money laundering in Canada through Canadian real estate, and it's sitting at about $200 billion laundered. Now, when you take that much money and bring it into a small economy, like Canada's, it's a G7 nation, it's a growing, blah, 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 but the problem is we didn't expand any more of our cities. We just basically deported a bunch of people, a lot of Portuguese families, a lot of Hungarians, a lot of Polish, and just replaced them with money, and lots of money. And now that money rolling through each province here, it's become a disaster. Because once you start, it's like adding salt water to a freshwater lake. You keep adding more salt water to the freshwater lake, well, the vegetation in the freshwater lake will die, and everything will cease to exist in that freshwater lake because the salt water has taken over, and there's no more room for that lake to grow as a form of algae, or fish will die and nothing will grow. So BC mined to hire only Chinese workers for years. So there's a couple of the biggest mines in Canada that are now owned by Chinese, do not hire Canadians at all. And Canada wants more Chinese workers and students. This is by the CBC, and they're bringing in 500,000 per year. By opening more visa offices could help Canada compete for Chinese workers, students, and lucrative business. It's a big market in the world. So it's not just Canada. It was California. It was Canada, California, Oregon, Washington State. They were actually publishing Chinese-only pamphlets and Chinese-only brochures to buy real estate in those places, and New York and Illinois and Massachusetts. Those states were basically pushing with Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and now Amerifornia is coming. So let me cover this real quick. A family facing deportation from Canada to return to Portugal. This is not new news. Canada has deported from the beginning of 93 to about close to 97,000 Portuguese families who have kids that were born and raised in Canada. Birth tourism does not work for the Portuguese culture, and it's something that I experienced growing up in Toronto. The racism and the hatred towards the Portuguese culture. You go to a job interview, they're like, oh, we don't hire your kind here. We don't hire your kind, get lost. And everyone's always, blaming the typical racist groups that are being attacked. No one really looks at the other. I'm not going to get into that here. So here it is, guys. I've been warning you guys for years on this channel. Canada wants more Chinese, 500,000 per year. This is articles from 5 years ago. Get ready for more Chinese in Canada. The Chinese market in Vancouver has been 20-plus year phenomena, continued to unbated. Our country will surely become China. So this is from 2 years ago. Seattle needs more Chinese. Vancouver is now far more expensive, burdened by foreign buyers, and less growth potential. I see Seattle as the new Vancouver. This is just my opinion on there. Bilingual signs, Chinese, English. So now there's only Chinese signs in some of those parts now in Canada. Chinese investors want a refund on bad investment. Chinese are returning to Australia. Seattle housing. What else? There's more here. Hold on. No Canadian hires a Chinese-owned business. Chinese entering the housing market at full force. So what's happened is they're buying up cheaper real estate. So look, this is my opinion from 5 years ago, guys. Chinese investors are buying up cheaper real estate, keeping locals away from getting into affordable markets. And that's what's going to happen. And then here, Chinese parking money in real estate. It just keeps going. Chinese buyers looking for cheaper properties is from 4 years ago. It keeps going and going and going and going. So here's the deal with that, guys. Now, let me tell you what the deal is with that. We will get Amerifornia. What is Amerifornia? Well, now with the new president-select, Jose Biden, what's going to happen is Americans that are fleeing those expensive states that are middle-class average wage earners will leave to middle America. So you're going to see a 40 to 100% price uptick in Texas, Alabama, Georgia, North and South Carolina, and Florida. You will see a massive uptick of mass exodus of people leaving New York, Massachusetts, Illinois, Washington State, Oregon, and California. You'll start to see that mass movement, and America will be transformed going forward, massively. So I wanted you guys to know this. This is happening across the Commonwealth. This is becoming a major issue, and it's becoming a massive takeover. America now is the last one on the chopping block. In Jamaica, it's horrible. Right now in Jamaica, the highway is not owned by the Jamaican public. It's actually owned by the Chinese. 2 major highways in Jamaica. They own all the supermarkets. The Chinese have bought everything, and they're conquering. They're taking over economically while our governments sit back and line their pockets. And this is what's happening in Canada. And this is becoming a major issue. I really hope middle America could wake up to this, because it's going to impoverish and force a lot of, if you look here, Canadians forced into homelessness. So here it is. People forced into homelessness 4 years ago. And I'm talking about Canada here, because, we're talking about Canada at the time, right? Seattle wasn't going crazy at the time because the foreign buyer's tax wasn't put into Vancouver. Once Vancouver put in the foreign buyer's tax, everyone went to Seattle and Toronto went crazy. So I'm just trying to see if I could find, Vancouver seniors choosing to take their own lives rather than become homeless. So there it is, people that fought in wars, and tent cities popping up all over. I think summer of 2021 will be the year of the tent city. We'll see what happens. Look at this one from 3 years ago. Vancouver, homeless up, unemployment up, mass exodus, young families, and business closures and property taxes by 2019. Look at that. By 2019. I just wish I was wrong on all this stuff. I just wish what I said didn't make any sense, but it is, and it's an economic takeover. Guys, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. I don't have many subscribers on here, but that's okay. If you guys want to subscribe and be part of the channel, I do have 2 call-in shows. Wednesday night is Business Talk. We talk about housing, forbearance, foreclosures, jobs, stocks, places. We got guests on the show from everywhere. And if you'd like to also come on Mike in the Night, that's Saturday night, 7 p.m. Pacific time. And you can add me on Skype and call into the show. Mike in the Night pretty much talks about everything from the injection to 5G to economic takeovers to wars and Indian-Chinese border dispute we've been covering, all kinds of stuff. So I look forward to seeing you guys on the live stream. Thanks for watching. God bless, and thanks for sharing this. I have spoken.